Dehumanization isn't a way of talking. It's a way of thinking that sadly comes all too easily to us. Dehumanization is a scourge and has been so for millennia. It acts as a psychological lubricant, dissolving our inhibitions and inflaming our destructive passions. As such, it empowers us to perform acts that would, under other circumstances, be unthinkable. David Livingstone Smith.
Hi everyone, so I've noticed none of you have done your work for the project and it's getting a little ridiculous. So if you could get on that, please.
Oh, come on, it's due at the end of the week.
It's not even that hard. Calm yourself.
Relax.
Please, because unlike you, I actually care about my grades and I care about school because I'm actually smart, okay?
Oh, bye. Oh my god, she's so uptight.
Right?
Oh my god.
Gosh. She is so annoying.
She is so obsessed with her work.
I know, work hard.
That's what you get when you put women in STEM class.
That was rude.
That was not okay.
Hey Emma, how's it going?
I need to rant. So I'm doing a project in science and my entire group is so lazy. They're a bunch of sloths. They aren't doing any work. And Tyler is a sexist pig. He said that I shouldn't even be in STEM because I'm a woman.
Okay, hold on a second. Can you take a step back? What exactly happened? What did they say to you?
Well, I told them that they really needed to get on their work, and when I left, I could hear them calling me a whole bunch of names, like a workhorse, and saying all these mean things about me.
Oh wow, that's not good. But I couldn't help but notice that you were kind of using the same language to describe them, like calling them sloths and Tyler a sexist pig, and it seems the same kind of dehumanizing language. I'm wondering if maybe you need a different approach into how to make this happen. Make sure that the work gets done.
You're probably right. I should go call them on Zoom and try to figure out a better way to sort this out and to get the project done.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm really sorry this happened to you. And I think if we remember that at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're all trying our best, and we're all human. And any kind of dehumanizing language like that really doesn't help really build up that sense of community. So that sounds great that you're going to go back to them and see if you can sort this out. Awesome.
Thank you so much. Bye, Rev.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So I don't want to make things awkward, but I wanted to let you know that I heard what you said earlier today when I left, and it really hurt my feelings. But I'm really sorry too. I shouldn't have said that you weren't smart, and I was being really pushy, so I'm sorry about that. And maybe we can try to work things out and get our project done and work together.
Yeah, I guess let's just finish this thing. It wasn't very cool.
We're very sorry for what we said. It was not considerate of us, and I think we were just angry in the moment.
Yeah, thanks, Emma.
It's okay, I understand. I also said some things about you behind your back, so I totally get it. Okay, bye everyone. Or let's get working on the project, I guess. Yeah.
Many of you might remember, or even used, that old children's rhyme. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. Yet, when I think of all the derogatory words that were in the vocabulary of my social group when I was young, and I think of the shocking and dehumanizing impact of those words, I believe the phrase by the writer and philosopher Robert Fulghum may be more appropriate. Sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will break our hearts. Indeed, words can be very powerful. Last month, I argued that human nature is fundamentally good and kind, and I truly believe that to be the case. But it leaves us with the obvious dilemma. If people are fundamentally good, then why do we commit such atrocities? Well, we need to take a step back and unpack what we mean by good. Research indicates that humans have a strong tendency towards friendliness and cooperation. That is what has allowed us to survive and thrive. However, as society began to develop with more complex hierarchical structures, those in power began to look for various mechanisms to stay in power, and this was often done through the act of force and oppression. So how do you do this when we are naturally inclined to be friendly and cooperative, as well as having a strong aversion to engaging in violence against another human being? Those in power soon discovered a hack to override this aversion to violence. The key is to make that person less than human. This can happen on a personal level, such as when we call someone a monster, a beast, or a savage. It can happen on a broader level when we refer to groups collectively as vermin, or cockroaches, or an infestation. All these words seek to dehumanize those people. We can see it across 5 broad categories. We cast people as either animals, a deficient human, a non-person, a parasite, or an inanimate object. Philosopher David Livingstone Smith uses the broad category of labeling people as subhuman. Once we see another as less than human, it becomes so much easier to engage in hurtful and violent words and actions. Throughout history, when we look at events where violence has been perpetrated, we see the process of dehumanization. There is evidence to suggest this tactic goes back thousands of years and was used by, among others, the Greeks, Romans, and various dynasties in Egypt and China. More recently, we have seen it with the colonization of the Americas, the transatlantic slave trade, the Holocaust, Jim Crow laws, the Canadian residential school system, apartheid, the Rwandan genocide, the Rohingya in Myanmar, and anti-immigration rhetoric in Canada, the UK, or the US. The pattern occurs again and again, where the victims are seen as subhuman. But there is a way to combat this, something that is surprisingly simple. It is called contact theory, and it literally is what the name suggests. As we get the chance to interact with one another, it has the incredible power of mitigating our tendency to dehumanize and see people as other. Not only that, if certain other factors are present, the positive effects of contact theory are amplified. These factors include ensuring relative equality in status, having a shared purpose, intergroup cooperation, and institutional support through laws, customs, and traditions. As I said, simple, right? Obvious even. But here's the challenge. Many of the ways in which our society is structured undermines the incredibly positive impact of contact theory. Society is becoming increasingly unequal. We see it in income inequality, unequal access to basic needs such as food, healthcare, housing, and education. Inequality is seen in the workforce, access to transport, leisure time. Inequality is increasingly permeated throughout our society. There is a fracturing in society as well, where we are losing our sense of shared purpose. Media and social media increasingly create echo chambers, in-groups and out-groups, which undermine intergroup cooperation. And politicians seem to increasingly use fear and division for their own political purpose, which erodes society's faith in institutions. So how do we combat this? Well, first of all, to fight for a more just and equitable economic system where all have equal access to those things which make for abundant living. To find ways to develop our civic engagement. Discover what is important to us and find like-minded people in order to make those dreams a reality. By doing this, we will promote a sense of shared purpose. Next, find other ways to learn about current events rather than relying on news feeds coming from Google and Facebook. Also, be attentive to your time spent on social media. It can be a cesspool of dehumanizing discourse. Instead, step out of your comfort zone and get to know those people who you may view as other. You may find you have more in common than you think. Finally, reject any political or social discourse that trades in fear and division and undermines our most valued and trusted institutions. Instead, seek to build and uphold those institutions in society that promote equity, democracy, and civic engagement. Ultimately, it is up to us to recognize and resist the pervasive attempts to dehumanize the other. In fact, I would take it a step further. We need to do the opposite of dehumanizing those whom we see as other. Instead, I would invoke the concept of Ubuntu, something that Ethan mentioned in the Prefect's Chapel video. Ubuntu is a Swahili term which I think is best summed up in this quote by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. In all our interactions, we must recognize that my humanity is ultimately wrapped up in your humanity. If one suffers, we all suffer, because I believe that we are all loved children of God.
For closing today, we'll be reading a prayer called the Prayer of Affirmation. It was written by the Celebrating Diversity Committee at a United Church in Toronto. We believe God created all people equal in worth and dignity, that differences of gender, culture, race, religion, ability, sexual identities are gifts of God.
We believe that the nature of God is multidimensional and that we are made in God's image.
We believe that the miracle of God's creation is manifested through our many differences.
We believe that our transformation rests in openness to the gifts and perspectives of others.
We believe that to embrace diversity, we must empty a place within ourselves so there is room for others.
We believe that to embrace diversity requires an explicit commitment to become a new kind of community.
We believe God's love is perfected in our collective communal experiences as diverse people. Amen.